Aokigahara Forest at the foot of Mount Fuji on the Japanese island of Honshu. The forest, which stretches right at the foot of the volcano itself, is the complete opposite of the beauty and majestic tranquility of these places. Aokigahara is considered a young forest since it was formed about 1,200 years ago. The last major eruption of Mount Fuji occurred in 1707 and for some reason did not cover one of the slopes of about 3,000 hectares of land with lava. Later, this area was overgrown with dense forest of boxwood, pines, and other conifers. The trees are almost a solid wall. But that's not the terrible thing here. At dusk, people start talking about this place only in whispers. Disappearances and frequent suicides, this is the real face of Aokigahara. Tourists are strictly instructed not to turn off the main trails into the depths of the forest because it is easy to get lost here. A magnetic anomaly makes a compass a completely useless object, and a similar terrain does not allow you to find a way out from memory. Legends have long been made about the numerous ghosts that live in the forest. This place became notorious back in the Middle Ages when in the hungry years, the desperate poor brought their elderly and infirm relatives to the forest and left them there to die. The moans of these unfortunate people could not break through the dense wall of trees, and no one heard the lamentations of those doomed to a painful death. The Japanese say that their ghosts lie in wait for lonely travelers in the forest, wanting to avenge their suffering. Rumor has it that you can see the white ghostly outlines of yureis here between the trees. According to Shintoism, the souls of those who died of natural causes are united with the spirits of their ancestors. Those who have died violently or committed suicide become wandering ghost yurei. Unable to find peace, they come to our world in the form of legless ghostly figures with long arms and eyes burning in the dark. And the oppressive deathly silence of the forest is broken at night by their moans and heavy breathing. Those who decide to visit Aokigahara should have strong nerves. It happens that the branch that crunched underfoot turns out to be a human bone, and the strange outline of a man in the distance is the corpse of another hangman. Only two kinds of people voluntarily enter the depths of the forest of death: members of special teams of police and firefighters who comb Aokigahara every autumn in search of the remains of suicides, and even the suicides themselves. Nowadays, no one in Japan suffers from hunger, but Aokigahara continues to play his ominous role even now. The mystical landscape and the ringing silence of the legendary forest attract those who have decided to voluntarily pass away. In terms of the number of suicides committed annually, Aokigahara is second only to the Golden Bridge in San Francisco. Since 1970, the police officially began searching for the bodies of the dead, for which special funds in the amount of 5 million yen are allocated annually from the treasury. Once a year, the police, together with a large group of volunteer assistants, about 300 people, comb the forest. It is reported that between 30 and 80 bodies are found during such raids. This means that on average every week someone enters this sea of trees, never to return. In 3 nearby villages, which are responsible for harvesting this terrible harvest, rooms are equipped for storing unidentified remains. 7 posters with the following content are installed on forest paths. Your life is a priceless gift from your parents. Think about them and your family. You don't have to suffer alone. Give us a call. Local shops do not sell drugs, pills, ropes that could be used to settle accounts with life. There are special patrols in the vicinity that catch those who want to get to Jukai even on the approaches. It is easy to calculate those who decided to go to the forest. Most often they are men in business suits. It is impossible to say for sure how much these words reduce the number of victims, but every year dozens of new bodies are found in the forest. Of course, not everyone is found. There are those who take their own lives in a completely unsociable wilderness. There, the remains of the weak in spirit are dragged away by predatory animals, forever making them a part of this forest. Why do the Japanese, who seem to live in such a prosperous country, take one of the first places in the world in terms of the number of suicides? More often than other reasons, it is called the loss of a workplace. Many people say that the Japanese have become too pragmatic, and the lack of money means too much in the modern world. But here, perhaps, an important role is played by the mentality that developed many centuries ago, when the loss of social status is perceived as the worst of evils and can lead to suicide.